catch you up on where we left off last time. We were doing the compression checks, or I'm sorry, the leak down tests on the cylinders, and we got through the first three of them. We found we had an 80% drop in one of the cylinders. Oddly enough, in cylinder number 3. So I went in and finished checking the cylinders. Everything else is pretty much the same, between 10%, 10-11% pressure drop. So I don't think the rings are an issue in there. If anything, on ring number, the rings on piston 6 might be leaking slightly, but even then, it was like a 16% drop. So nothing too crazy. 80% drop is almost certainly our problem. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull the cylinder head off, because the way it was leaking over and coming out of the adjacent cylinder spark plug hole leads me to believe that either the head gasket is blown, or more likely the cylinder head itself is warped. So I did have the head decked before I put it on there, or it was supposedly the machine shop decked it. But we'll pull it off. We're going to get a straight edge on there, and we're going to see if we can see if it is warped, or we're going to see if it is warped, we're going to see how warped it is. We'll get the feeler gauge out, slide it in there. If it's warped, hopefully it's only by like 10 thousandths or so, and then we can have the machine shop actually correct it. If not, it looks like I'll just be buying a new head. If I'm doing a new head, I'm probably going to go ahead and do new springs retainers as well. I don't know about going full on camshafts just yet, but I'll definitely put the hardware in there so that when I do go to upgrade the camshafts to either 264s or 272s, that everything will be ready to receive it, and we can probably rev it out a little bit further to about 9,000. So that's where I'm at now. I'll let you guys see. We did get, I did start on some of it already. So you can see we got the front end back off that chase base radiator. My attempt to epoxy those mounting points on there did not work out, so I'm going to go ahead and just tap in a screw, or drill and tap a mounting point. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. Popped the valve covers off, got my electrical connections that were over here over. Still got to pop the turbo feed line off. Some of these miscellaneous coolant hoses. But next up for me is I got to get this belt off, and to keep the belt from going crazy, I'm going to pop this tensioner off. So pop the tensioner off, belt off, pull the cam gears off, and then pop the cams out. And after that, that should be all we need to get the head itself off. Of course, we still got to remove like fuel lines and stuff, but that shouldn't be too hard. So we'll get to work on that, see how it goes. Alright, so I got the timing belt off. I did not do it the smart way, I did it the lazy way, and I just slid it off of there. So that might even be a sign that the tensioner is already worn out and needs to be replaced. But in either way, I gotta pop off 1, 2, 3 bolts for my water pump, which means I gotta take this belt off of the tensioner. I'm sorry, off of my belt tensioner. Then I gotta take the serpentine belt off of it. Got 1, 2, 3, and I'm guessing a 4th one back here somewhere. But for now, I think I'm going to pop the cam gears off first, which should be fairly easy. So we'll get this one on here, should zip out. Yeah. Pull this one. For the time being, I'll put this in here just so I don't lose it. Now this one's a hex key, so I gotta find an actual hex key to put it that'll fit that. Should have a couple sitting around here. I doubt this one's gonna fit it, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah. That's the smallest one I have, and it's still too big, or the smallest 1/2 inch. That's definitely it. Now what we'll do, get that one out. Ooh, I can hear the oil playing around. So I've probably got a leaking gasket in this one too. I don't know if you guys can hear that on camera. Oh, look, there it goes. It's coming out. Oh. That might just be the oil that's left in the solenoid, now that I think about it. Now to figure out how to get this from back here. What I don't want to do is take the entire cam gear apart, just because I had a super sketchy time trying to put it back together. Let's see if I can wedge. Bam. There we go. Yeah. We got it off. Set those two in there. Plug this back up. plan is to drop this head off at the machine shop and pick up the Cleveland heads at the same time. So that while this is on a little hiatus, at least there'll be something to do. Alright, so we'll pop that. Back these back out. Alright, so I've noticed I don't have bearings in here. I reassembled the engine the same way I got it, but I was a lot less savvy on engine stuff when I put this together. So I need to check and see if that's just like a Jay-Z thing where they don't use bearings in the camshafts, or if I just royally screwed this up. In either sense, probably gonna go ahead and just get a new valve train minus cams put in, so cams and valves. And then I'm gonna get like new springs, new retainers. Oh, buddy, this one doesn't want to play. So I don't need that one. There we go. Yeah, I'm a lot more cautious about that now. Or a lot more concerned about that. Let's go ahead and get you guys off so you can see where we're at. Alright, so far got our cam gears off. Timing belt, obviously, tensioner had to come off. The timing plate back cover that sits back here is off. All of our valve covers, cam caps, cams, VVTi stuff, kind of set that off to the side. Oil feed off the turbo. Camshafts themselves are out. Got our heater hose and coolant hoses disconnected. Really, the only thing left should be getting head studs out, disconnecting the fuel, and oh, ground wires. Gotta get our ground wires off too. Alright guys, so we got the head off finally, as you can see. After looking down here, I don't see any like flooding or pooling. This little bit of gas is really just what was left over when I dropped the lines. A little bit of oil in this one. Again, I don't know if that's just from the head gasket itself leaking or being warped. It is bubbled right here, which is the suspected problem area. The rest of this is sticking pretty well. Got a little bit of dirt and stuff back here. I did mess up my VVTi feed line. It got pinched in as I was lifting the head off. But one thing I did notice, if you look, that bucket is sitting lower than all the rest of them, which it shouldn't, because it should all be off of tension now, at least from the cam. And if you look down here, I got a valve that's cracked open. And again, this is that same cylinder, and this valve might even be bent now that I think about it. That could be what it is. So it looks like I'm gonna need a new valve and at least a new valve, guide, and springs. Luckily, I was gonna do springs, retainers anyway. If you look, this cylinder is a lot cleaner than the rest of them as well. So that one was probably leaking fuel and all kinds of weird stuff going on. Back here, pretty normal, Yeah, just that one. Probably because it was constantly leaking in. So, still gonna do the straightness test on both the head and the block. I gotta strip the accessories off of the head. By accessories, that just means I gotta take the manifolds off of both sides. I'll pop this head gasket off, get a straightness check on that. I don't see any damage on the pistons. That will really lead me to believe that they made hard contact. Now, alright, so, and those valves have never been out of the engine as far as I know. I know I never took them out. So that valve could have been bent from the start and I just never noticed because I was in such a rush to get the engine done. And now that I think about it, I don't even need to buy new valves because I've got another 2JZ head over there that I can rob the valves from. It's a non-VVTi head and I don't plan on using it because I don't like the distributor setup on it. So there's a small win right there. That's it. Enough for me talking. We'll get back and do the straightness check on the block itself before I start stripping down the head. Alright guys, so got the head off, got it all broken down. So again, we're gonna go back to the smallest. That's gonna be a, see, I don't know if you can focus on it, but that is a basically 1.5 thousandths gauge. Pretty sure the block itself is straight, which makes sense. Block is iron. So if anything would give, it'd be the aluminum head first. So now we got to strip that down, make sure everything's straight. And then from there, we'll start pulling out that valve.